TomoNews presents Dog Rescue Compilation.
Police rescue dog trapped in mud. Pennsylvania police officers don't give two cares about getting dirty if it means saving man's best friend. Sheila Shorr thought it was strange that her 13-year-old dog Pluto didn't come home Tuesday night. She didn't find the pooch until day 3 of the search, but when she did, she found Pluto trapped up to his neck in 2 feet of mud. Look close, he's right there. The dog was fighting to keep his nose above the surface until help arrived. The mud pit Pluto got stuck in Tuesday night was near a creek not far from Shorr's home. The dog struggled to survive for the next 60 hours. This was the scene officers were called to Friday morning. Officers prepared a makeshift gurney and didn't hesitate jumping in to help the canine. Both officers were required to remove the dog from the mud pit. The final moments of the rescue were captured on video.
It's okay, buddy.
The pooch could hardly move as it was transferred to the vet. Shorr said Pluto still had some matted hair and walks with a limp, but he's on his way to a full recovery. Good eye spotting him, Miss Shorr, and props to Officer Mike Kushner and Sergeant Michael Martin for doing the dirty work.
With justice, veteran arrested for rescuing dog from hot Mustang. Army veteran Michael Hammond saw a dog trapped and struggling inside a hot car, and being the awesome hero he is, broke the window to rescue the little guy. Except our hero's story doesn't end there. Nope, when the owner returned, instead of thanking Hammond, she called the cops and got him charged with criminal trespassing. The owner had parked her car in a Georgia car park and left her dog inside on a sweltering hot day. Luckily for the poor mutt, Hammonds was walking by and spotted the dog inside the increasingly hot vehicle. Seeing the dog was panting and warm, Hammonds decided to take action. Using the footrest from his wife's wheelchair, Hammond smashed the car window to rescue the dog. But when the owner returned, she was pissed to see someone had broke the window of her beloved Mustang. So she called the cops, who charged Hammonds with criminal trespassing. Thankfully, the Mustang owner did at least receive a citation for leaving the dog in the hot car. Unfortunately for Hammonds, while Georgia state law allows people to break into cars to rescue people and babies, it doesn't cover pets. How's about that for some with justice?
Firefighters rescue dog buried alive for 2 days. This video, taken by firefighters in Rio Grande do Sul in Brazil, was taken on March 10th after a passing couple saw a dog's head sticking out of the ground. They called firefighters, who were able to dig the German Shepherd out of the ground and take her to the vet. She had been buried there for at least 2 days when she was found. They named the dog Bella and determined that she is 8 years old. Bella had been blinded in one eye, sustained scratches to her head, and her front right leg was fractured. The good news is that Bella is responding well to medication and has resumed eating, but she is still unable to stand on her own. She will be put up for adoption when she's fully healed. Meanwhile, police are investigating it as a case of animal cruelty but have no suspects.
Dog discarded at meat market gets second chance and prosthetic legs. At first glance, this 2-year-old golden retriever mix, Chi-Chi, looks as happy a dog as you might ever see. But her good nature and lovable smile don't reveal a hint of the horrors she's endured over her short life. Young Chi-Chi was the victim of unimaginable cruelty from the time she was born, slated to become one of the reported 2.5 million dogs slaughtered annually in South Korea's underground dog meat trade, where there are no laws or regulations requiring the humane slaughter of dogs for meat. Every day, she was hung upside down, her legs bound by ropes and wires, and beaten by handlers, under the belief that a dog's meat is more tender when tortured. At some point, Chi-Chi's keepers realized that the bindings around her legs had cut through her flesh, causing parts of her body to become grossly infected. They came to the conclusion that her meat would likely be too rancid for human consumption, and disposed of her in a dumpster behind the meat market shortly afterward, still alive. Scared and alone, Chi-Chi was later found by a group of Good Samaritans who immediately contacted an animal rescue organization willing to help the dog in noticeable distress. The rescue team then gathered her up and rushed her to an emergency veterinary clinic. There, doctors diagnosed that her 4 legs had indeed rotted to the bone, the infection spreading to the rest of her body. If she was to have any chance at survival, Chi-Chi would have to undergo a quadruple amputation procedure, effectively cutting off the infection, but consequently leaving her with mere stubs for paws. Though the surgery was successful, it was anyone's guess as to how Chi-Chi might adapt, both physically and emotionally, after all the trauma she'd been through. But this resilient pup, whose name translated means loving, proved to be a fighter like the world has maybe never seen. ARM, the Los Angeles-based animal welfare group who saved Chi-Chi, reports that the day after her surgery, she was wagging her tail and already attempting to walk. A couple days later, remarkably, she was somehow managing to get around on her stumps. Demonstrating she could be a good candidate for prosthetics, Chi-Chi was fitted with 4 new legs and spent the following 2 months getting used to her new footing. It may not have been easy, but she sure made it look that way, running around on her prosthetic paws, chasing balls with reckless abandon like any normal dog would. Through social media and news coverage, her inspiring story caught the attention of the world, in particular a family in Arizona. The Howells, who have 3 dogs already, reached out to ARM to complete Chi-Chi's journey and offer her a loving home. When she was deemed ready, Chi-Chi was flown 6,000 miles from Seoul all the way to LA, where her rescuers and her new family picked her up and brought her to her new home in Phoenix this past week. The Howells say she still has a long road of rehab and recovery ahead of her, and it may not always be a walk in the park. But despite her physical limitations and psychological trauma, they say Chi-Chi appears boundless in her enthusiasm for life. It's hoped her story of being able to forgive and continue to smile in the face of adversity will act as a lesson to people everywhere about how to journey onwards and keep moving forward, one step at a time.
SPCA rescues injured dog with rubber band collar. SPCA workers rescued a dog that locals had noticed and described as the balloon-faced dog. Rescuers found that the dog had a rubber band wrapped around its neck, which had partially cut off its blood flow and resulted in the dog's head becoming extremely swollen. The rubber band had also severed the dog's vocal cords, and it was unable to bark. Veterinarians removed the rubber band, which may have been put on the dog maliciously or perhaps gotten stuck on its head when it was younger and smaller. Rescuers estimate the dog to be around 3 months old, and it appears that the rubber band had been trapped around its neck for a month or more. The dog, which has been nicknamed Lucky, is now in recovery and awaiting adoption.
Loyal dog watches over trapped friend for a week. If unconvinced about the loyalty and intelligence of dogs, this story will set you right once and for all. An 11-year-old settler mix named Tilly endured a week in the outdoors to stay with her companion, 4-year-old basset hound Phoebe, who'd managed to get herself trapped in a cistern in a ravine in Vashon, Washington, until someone found them. Phoebe and Tilly ran out of their home on September 7 while their owner was hosting a party. Their worried owner went out looking for them but couldn't find them, and so contacted Amy Carey of the non-profit Vashon Island Pet Protectors. The dogs were last seen on September 8 when Tilly was stuck in a pond with Phoebe waiting at the water's edge. Both ran off when Tilly made it back to the water. On September 14, a farmer phoned Carey noticing a reddish dog coming up to his property to get his attention before heading back into a ravine. Carey set out into the ravine and called Tilly's name, which was returned with a single woof response. When Carey finally saw Tilly, she had her head on a concrete wall of an old cistern where Phoebe was trapped. The dehydrated and exhausted dogs were reunited with their owner, who treated them to a celebratory dinner of burgers. We're just glad they're both okay. Good job, Tilly.
Heartwarming photo saves 2 dogs' lives. Puppies Kala and Kara were doing hard time at an Atlanta animal shelter and were on their way to death row until a cute picture of them went viral, leading to their rescue. These cute little canines had a nice life, but the time was nigh for them to join the other 1.2 million U.S. shelter dogs that are euthanized each year. However, an Angels Among Us pet rescue attendant had a plan. She took the cutest photo ever of 2 dogs about to be put to death in the hope that someone out there would come to their rescue. Some pooch-loving superheroes, moved by the picture, arrived exactly 2 hours and 6 minutes later to adopt the photogenic pups, sparing them from their death sentence. If the picture alone didn't save these two, the accompanying caption alone might have done the trick as well. It read,
"She's so brave and tells me it'll be okay no matter what happens. She tells me to be brave too, but I don't know if I can be."
Holy crap, now that's touching. One of the pup's new parents works as a vet, so clearly this isn't the first dog this unnamed hero has saved. But now, what on earth do we do with the other 1,999,999 pooches that need a home?
Dog who lost both eyes finds an owner. Meet Ashton, a 2-year-old pup who's proven to have one hell of a fighting spirit. Weeks ago in Phoenix, Ashton was found collapsed on the side of the road. Staff at the Arizona Humane Society said when they were called to rescue him, the dog was severely exhausted and his eyes were hanging out of their sockets. Emergency surgery was performed and luckily Ashton's life was saved, even though his sight was lost. It's not easy to navigate the world without eyes, but Ashton had the good fortune of having the Humane Society's behavior team helping him learn how to get around using his other senses. Though the Humane Society staff said he was back to wagging his tail and enjoying a good pet, it would be natural to worry this dog's life was not going to get any easier. But after being on the adoption list for only 2 days, Ashton has now found a family to love and care for him. In a fitting end to this tale of resilience, along with their new pal, these folks are also proving that what's even more important than being able to see with our eyes is being able to see with our hearts.
Hero Texas cop saves husky after it falls into harbor. This is the mighty husky, a dog, par none. Neither snow nor frost bothers this magnificent animal. What's more, huskies are quite capable of swimming. They are, however, less capable of rescuing themselves.
Arr, 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 arr.
What's that? I hear a dog in distress. Hero cop to the rescue. Okay, now, if I remember my husky lessons, ruff, ruff, ruff means, where are you?
Arr, arr.
Oh good, she understood me. Doggy, fear not. Hero cop is here to save you.
Oh, thank you, officer. Arr, arr. I fell in this harbor and the water is so cold.
Don't you worry, little lady. I'll have you out of here in no time. Or as you say in husky, ruff, 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 ruff.
Wow, your husky is really good.
Oh, thanks. I took lessons from Caesar Milan. Oh, there you go. All safe. Ruff, ruff, ruff.
Oh, thank you, my noble sir. Oh my, I'm all wet.
That's all right. Getting wet is quite common when you fall into a harbor.
Well, thank you, Officer Nick Harwood. You're my hero. Arr, arr.
Just doing my job. Ruff, ruff, ruff. Or, haha, you're welcome.
Can I give you a kiss?
Sure, but not too much tongue if you don't mind.
Again, I can't thank you enough. Arr!
Not to worry. After all, I am a hero cop. I'm even a stem cell donor for an infant with leukemia.
Oh my. Do you have a dog?
Actually, I'm more of a cat person.
Abandoned dog rescued after months on the street. Xiao Huang is a mixed-breed dog who was abandoned near the Reifang train station in Taiwan. Employees working at the train station say they don't know when Xiao Huang appeared. One day, he was just there. Xiao Huang used to belong to someone. He was healthy and trusting of people when he first appeared at the train station. He would often greet people as they arrived at the station via bus. However, after several months of neglect, Xiao Huang was getting thin. Some visitors took photos and posted about his plight on social media. A woman, Miss Liu, decided to rescue Xiao Huang. Unfortunately, Xiao Huang attacked Miss Liu's other dog, so she was unable to keep him. Nevertheless, she paid his vet bills and made sure he got cleaned up and checked for parasites and disease. The vet discovered a chip and traced it back to another woman. The woman claimed that her husband had given Xiao Huang away. Her husband had died in a car accident several months before, so police were unable to verify her claims. Xiao Huang has already been adopted by another dog lover, and hopefully with time, he'll forget all about his abandonment. Mother dog leads helpful humans to her puppies. A family of 3 were taking a walk when they noticed a stray dog. The dog ran back and forth as though it wanted them to follow. The father and 2 children followed the black dog, and she quickly led them to a litter of 4 newborn puppies. She laid down beside the puppies and whimpered. They phoned SPCA to come collect the dogs. SPCA picked up the 5 dogs but noticed the mother dog was severely injured. She was panting heavily, struggling to breathe, and had bloody saliva. They rushed the 5 dogs to the SPCA vet, but he was unable to save the mother dog, who died upon arrival. The vet said she'd suffered an impact injury and suffered heavy internal bleeding. He was unable to say how she had sustained the injury. The father of the family said it was as though the mother dog led his family to her puppies, as though she was hoping the humans would help take care of her babies. The puppies are just 40 days old and healthy. The father said that his children wanted to adopt all 4 of the puppies, and they said they probably would adopt 1 or 2, but not all 4. Some people have come forward to adopt the remaining puppies after this story was aired by the media in Taiwan.
Dog marooned in icy river, saved by firefighters. This is Cooper, a golden retriever poodle cross, and he's in a bit of trouble. Here he is, stuck on a tree in Boston's frigid Charles River. And he was done for until firefighters waded out to rescue him. His owners say he'd bolted during a Saturday walk along the riverbank. They posted up flyers around the neighborhood and, luckily, got the call on Sunday. Someone had spotted Cooper in his icy death trap. So Wellesley firefighters geared up and went to work.
Let's wrap that dog up in something.
Bring him right to me. Bring him right to me. I got his collar. You got him? Yep. Got him. I got him.
Chris.
It's okay, buddy.
Maybe Sully
all
the way out.
Yeah. It's all right.
Okay, hang on.
Good thing it wasn't Group B's engine.
Cooper.
The unlucky mutt was reunited with his family and is probably going to be grounded until summer.
Sonoma County deputy rescues stranded dog in helicopter mission. A black and white Labrador called Oreo escaped an almost certain death after Sonoma County authorities rescued the trapped animal from a cliff above California's Portuguese beach. Oreo was at the beach with her unnamed owner when she somehow managed to make her way about halfway down the 90-foot cliff. The dog's owner called for help, and when authorities failed to coax the dog back up, they sent a deputy down to get her. Oreo made it to safety and was reunited with her owner.
Animal rescue saves cute pet pit bull from drainage ditch. Cola is a purebred pit bull who loves chasing mice and rats through the fields near her owner's home in Taiwan. Unfortunately, last week she followed a clever rat when it bolted down into a drainage ditch and disappeared down a small sewer pipe. Cola got stuck in the drainage ditch. The cement sides were too steep and smooth for Cola to climb out. Cola's owner attempted to lift her out, but she's several pounds of wriggling muscle, and when he was unable to lift his dog out, he called Animal Rescue. Animal Rescue also attempted to drag Cola out of the ditch, and finally, in the end, provided a thick rope for Cola to latch onto with her strong jaws. Cola's rescuer was then able to lift her out of the drainage ditch. Cola's owner promised that he'd keep a strong rope on hand, just in case Cola decided to chase anything else down into the ditch. As for Cola, she's just glad to have a chance to dry out her paws.
Great Dane barks up the wrong tree. Cora is an 120-pound or 54-kilo Great Dane who lives in Nebraska. Cora also apparently suffers from some sort of species dysphoria, and this cute, not-so-little fella went full feline on Saturday. Imagine the call.
Fire department, my Great Dane is stuck in a tree. No, this isn't a joke. Seriously, she's stuck.
Yes, I said Great Dane. Yes, she is a dog. Skeptical firefighters arrived and found it was 100% true. Cora had evidently chased a squirrel or something, jumped over a 5-foot fence, and got herself stuck on a tree branch some 20 feet off the ground. A Facebook post from the Plattsmouth Volunteer Fire Department says the initial plan was to get a leash on the cold, scared doggy and get owner Wes McGurrick to try to guide her down. Didn't work. On to plan B. Lower the dog out of the tree with some kind of harness, firefighter style. Wisely, however, the rescuers had a team on the ground holding out an outstretched tarp to catch Cora if she fell, which she did. Harmlessly landing on the tarp and then walking away like, what, can't a girl climb a tree these days? Shh, thanks, Obama. Firefighters said they were very pleased, all ended well, and that the time we got a Great Dane out of a tree story is going to be one they tell for many moons to come. Let's just hope Cora learns to love herself as a plus-size dog and finds a more down-to-earth hobby.
Rescue dog helped family save 82-year-old granny. This gray-bearded collie knew just what to do when she and her elderly owner got lost in the woods during a rainstorm. Russian grandmother Rima Bulatova and her family's 9-year-old dog, Raya, headed out to the forest on their daily walk around 4 p.m. But when winds picked up and rain started to come down, Bulatova got disoriented and wasn't able to find the way home. A couple hours in, and knowing she was running out of time before nightfall, she gave Raya the command to go home. In Russian. The obedient and multilingual dog ran home and waited patiently. Bulatova's family, who was worried sick, saw the dog and immediately knew she was in trouble. The family quickly called police and asked for help in rescuing their old grandma. Rescuers managed to find Bulatova, who was soaked and shivering, hiding under trees in a muddy and heavily wooded area about 1.5 miles away from the family home. When they found her, Bulatova whispered the little English she knew, "Russian woman is strong." And Raya, who the family rescued 7 years earlier from a shelter, was finally able to return the favor. Lassie, who?
Hero Colombian cop saved dog from certain muddy death. Earlier this week, a dangerous landslide killed more than 60 people in Salgar, Colombia. During a search for survivors, police spotted a dog drifting rapidly down a raging river. Wasting no time, the officers tried to rescue the dog, risking their own lives while jumping into the muddy river. Until one brave officer jumps in and manages to grab the dog and save his life. But it's not over yet, as the dog was in bad shape, so one cop had to give him mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. The exhausted dog was carried to a police car where he was given fluids, after which he was taken to a close-by city for further care. Police said if he can't find his owner, that the dog, nicknamed Prince, will be welcomed into their police family.
Blind dog rescued after being trapped down a well for over a month. Meet Farudin Bravo. This holiday season, he's traveling down a dark well in Bosnia to save a dog. 26 feet underground and surviving on food thrown down to him by children in the area, the dog desperately needed a hero. When Bravo caught wind of the pooch's plight, he laced up his cape and went in, while his sidekick, Rotko Koblar, along with 3 others, held the rope. When they finally reached the dog, Bravo carefully strapped him into a harness, and the rescuers gently pulled him to safety. As it turns out, the dog was blind and likely fell down the well. Back above ground and finally free, the vets say the dog is actually in fairly good health. And it's all thanks to his kind-hearted heroes, who refused to let a blind dog live in darkness. They say miracles do happen this time of year, so it's no wonder they named the dog Christmas.
Dog saved after being burned and thrown away. The rescue story of Poppy, a small mixed-breed terrier from China, has been barking up a storm on the internet recently. Poppy is still a puppy and estimated to be less than 1 year old. Puppies have a tendency to chew on things, and Poppy's owner got angry when the little dog began nomming on his mobile phone. The owner then poured scalding water over the dog and threw it off the 4th floor balcony. Poppy was left lying injured and half dead on the sidewalk until a 30-year-old woman saw him and rushed him to the vet. He was later taken to Precious Paws Asia and Small Dog Rescue for surgery. Poppy's skin was badly damaged and he will always walk with a limp due to the injuries to his legs, but his new owner says she loves him regardless.
Dog recruits policeman to help save his doggy damsel in distress. In a real-life Lassie story, a dog in Massachusetts helped save another dog from an icy prison. Jock, a Scottish terrier, was hanging out with his lady friend Annabelle when their world was turned upside down. Police had shown up in their home to take the dog's owner to the hospital for an undisclosed medical emergency. Unable to comprehend why their owner was being taken away, the dogs took off into the woods. But the road was slippery, and Annabelle wasn't as light or quick on her feet. Tumbling 30 feet down an icy hill, she suddenly found herself at the bottom, trapped. Acting fast, Jock ran out to the nearest road. As the police vehicle approached, the terrier flagged down the officer, signaling for help. Somehow, Jock was able to get through to the policeman and led him back to where Annabelle was imprisoned. Orange, Massachusetts police officer Chris Blaseglia called in the emergency, and firefighter James Hopkins responded. Hopkins utilized a ground ladder and freed Annabelle from her entanglement. The police department shared the courageous dog story on Facebook following the incident, posting, "Apparently, any dog in the right circumstance can turn into Lassie." Did Lassie ever brave the snow to save her best friend? If not, she's got nothing on Jock.